And AOLF has created a platform for young people to come in and discover themselves, and discover their giftings, and discover the beautiful things they can do. This morning as we were leaving, as I look at the program, I was like, this is Grasa. Do we know her? And then like, yeah, we know her. And then like, I remember, oh yeah, Grasa did SLDP, and now she's a patron of a club here. Let's appreciate her. Let's thank, and Grasa, thank you. Thank you for choosing to say you will support the work that we are doing in the universities, and especially you will be there for what we are doing in this university. And thank you very much for the work you are doing. And we pray that you continue, and with the coordinator and the assistant coordinator. Where is the assistant coordinator? He was, oh, yes. Thank you guys for this good work you are doing. And of course the leadership team, thank you guys for the good work you are doing. And so growing up and going through all that I went through, what helped me in the earlier days, when I was going through all this, is I found a few people who believed in me. And sometimes we don't even believe in ourselves. We struggle with our own struggles. We don't even believe in ourselves. But God in his own ways brings people around us who believes in us. And I remember finding a mentor. And that's why I believe in mentorship. Mentorship, and most of us have gotten the benefit of being mentored. Mentorship, whether it is in person or you get someone whom you read their content, you read their book, you follow them, you're learning from them, it is very powerful. I don't know if there's anybody here who is reading a book at the moment. You're reading a book, not your classwork. You've taken initiative to beyond your classwork to find a book that you are reading. Anybody? Thank you guys, because you don't know what you're doing. Some of us, I know maybe your classwork is a lot, ni story mingi, but you can just be reading a page every evening before you go to bed. Fungua tu hata ka page, soma tu, because you don't know what you're doing. You're doing an investment in yourself beyond just that. The classwork, which classwork will come, and of course you'll pass your exams, and as you always do it, unapita mtihani alafu kuuliza kitabu chako cha first year iko wapi? Hata hauna habari. If they bring back whatever they taught you in first year, they bring it back as exam, utaanguka kuanguka, sivyo? Ama aje? Sivyo? If they bring it back, utaanguka, because ulisomea kupita. And that's why it's very important to find something else that now fully invest in yourself. And so for me, the beauty of finding people who believed in me helped me to slowly start believing in myself. And the first thing I wanted to just do is talk about belief. Ask yourself, do you have something that you believe in? And is it the belief that I can do this? There's something about me, there's something about my future, there's something about my life that is beautiful that I need to believe that it's possible. Now, university is a very good age. It's a good stage in your life because you have your freedom. Your parents are not watching over you every now and then, isn't it? You can choose how to use the money you get. Is that true? You can choose to get help na ununue speaker kubwa. Ile katenje ulikuwa unatamani sana, uchukue help, ununue hiyo yote, inunue hiyo speaker, nobody will stop you. Hata mtu mwenye duka hautaenda hukumbi, hii pesa ni ya nini? Mwambie ni ya help. Hata kataa kuchukua junior help, si atachukua. So you have the freedom. You have the freedom to sleep in campus or to sleep wherever you want to sleep. Amaje, si ni kweli? You have the freedom to enter all manner of relationships. Is that true? And it's very important that at this age you ask yourself, as much as I have this freedom, because absolute freedom destroys freedom, absolutely. As much as I have this freedom, that I can choose where I want to go, what I want to do, when to go home, when to not go home, because nobody is monitoring me, what is this one thing that maybe, just maybe, if I pursue, if I focus on, if I believe strongly that I'm pursuing this, maybe one day it will be possible. And I think it's very important to ask yourself that important question. What is it that your life is all about? And believe with everything you got in you that you can work towards it. Does that make sense? Because if you don't have that, it's like hope. It's like having hope for something. Belief is like having hope for something. You hope for a better future. You believe that, and if you're someone who believes also in the power of a supernatural, the power that God is at work in your life, then you believe that God is with you and is going to see you through every circumstance and every situation, and your life will be better tomorrow than it is today. Does that make sense? Because that will keep you on check. As you have this freedom, if you have belief for something better, you will then start slowly picking what kind of people do you want to hang around. And you start avoiding some things. You start avoiding kukunywa pombe sana. Because you're like, nikikunywa pombe sana, I don't think I will be able to achieve that thing that I'm working towards. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? And so having that something, that hope, that belief, something that is pulling you towards something bigger, something grander, that could be next year, could be a year, 2 years, 3 years down the line. It's very important because it keeps you focused. Now, the next thing is initiative. So I talked about belief. Initiative is the next thing. You might have a wonderful, you're one of those guys who can tell you about my life. Man, it's going to be great, man. And they can tell you a lot about how the future is going to be bright and things will be better. But they're doing nothing about it. Do you know those guys? You have those friends. They give you a lot of stories how things will be better. Watanunua gari mzuri, ataishi, akimaliza hivi, atapata kazi mzuri, make pesa, aoe bibi mzuri, ama olewe na jamaa mzuri, all those things. But you're doing nothing about it. All you're doing is contrary to everything you say. And so it's important to take initiative and get out of just talking, but ask yourself, what is the first natural step that I can take towards whatever it is that I see that is a possibility in my life? And that could be just, I need to talk to someone about this, isn't it? I need to find a mentor. I need to sign up for a training course. Maybe you are studying whatever you're studying in class, and then you're like, maybe I need to do CPA as an addition, because I know my combination of my course with CPA, I see myself there. And so the only thing I need to do in my spare time, let me find a book that is talking about entrepreneurship, because I see myself as an entrepreneur, isn't it? My course is in agriculture, and I'm studying agriculture now, but let me find a book on entrepreneurship, because I see myself 5 years, 10 years from now, I believe I will be an entrepreneur. And so let me find a book, or let me join public speaking class, because I'd like to be someone who can speak in front of people. And so instead of just saying, one day mimi, nitakuwa nasimama mbele ya watu hivi, nilikuwa naongelesha mpaka wakubali, but then you're doing nothing about it. And so it's to ask yourself, do I need to then sign up for public speaking classes? Do I need to join Toastmasters? Now that I'm in AYLF, do I need to talk to the coordinator so that once in a while we get opportunity for people to speak in front of people, to build the confidence, kuongea mbele ya? Because I see myself, that's where I want to see myself going in, getting myself into. So taking initiative, it doesn't mean that you have to do big things, major things, but it's just simple. The simple steps that you can take. And of course, the lastly is together. That as you're taking your initiative and doing something about it, is how can I come together with someone else? And maybe my friend here is passionate about writing, isn't it? For me, I'm passionate about public speaking. So maybe together, he can be writing me speeches, and then me, I can be speaking these speeches. As hata kama ni kuongelea, some people speak to trees, to shrubs, because you want to build your confidence ya kuongea mbele ya watu, sivyo? Hata kama ni kusimama mbele ya viti, empty desks. Na unaongelea kwa unamwambia wewe kama nani, but your friend has written the speech, because that's what they see themselves. They'd want one day to be the speech writer to the president, isn't it? So slowly I met a guy who was always a speech writer to the presidents in the US. And I got to engage him. And of course, growing up, all he ever wanted is to influence policy. And he realized I might not be the elected political leader, because I don't see myself as a political leader. But I want to be the guy who this political leader who is going to speak, I want to be the one who puts the things they're going to speak together for them. And when this guy stands and speaks nicely, those are your. Wewe ndio uliziandika. So who is influencing really? Who is influencing? You are the guy who put the words together. You coined the words in a way. And this guy likes your speaking, your speech. So every now and then he wants to speak. Hey, Ebuni andikie a speech. I'm going to speak to some young people in this place. I need a speech. Please put me a speech for like a 30-minute speech. Put it together. He might give you a few thoughts, what I want them to get. I want them to understand X, Y, Z. And then laugh when you put the words together. And at the end of the day, who is influencing? It's you. Because it is your words that this guy is verbalizing. Ataongeza zake, but the main thing will be you. So exactly what is it and how can you lock arms? And that's why we do the small groups, that you'll identify people you can lock arms with and say, we see ourselves as people who we believe we can transform our communities, we can transform our lives, do greater things. We have taken initiatives as individuals. I'm doing this, you're doing that, they're doing that. Let's lock arms together and let's commit that for the longest howl, for the longest as possible, we will walk a journey together. We might not be perfect. We will make mistakes. We'll sometimes tutakosana in the long, but we make a commitment that hata tukikosana, we will work it out. One of my long-term friends, really, I met him in 2003. In 2003 when I was in university, and he's the one who approached me. He approached me and asked me, and it was very interesting. He approached me and asked me if I can be his friend. I don't know why. He approached me and asked me if I can be his friend. And I didn't know how to respond to that. Like you see, I kind of felt like how ladies always feel. When someone approaches you and asks you to be in a relationship with you. Because you're like, okay, so do I respond now? Do I get to think about it? Or what's the deal here? And if I say yes, what does it mean? Isn't it? See, ladies, you sometimes wonder that, isn't it? If I say yes, what does it mean? If I say no, hatasikia vibaya, or maybe I might say no, maybe he's a nice guy, and then I miss out. Does that happen to ladies? Yeah. Sinevo. So anyway, in 2003, this young man, we were together in campus. We were all coming towards the end of our first year in campus, and he approaches me and asks me, hey, can we be friends? And I was like, of course, I told him, yes. But I was like, but why me? But I'm so glad we committed to be friends. Because that friendship, now it doesn't mean that all the times we liked each other. The moments we disappointed each other. And even lately, right now, we are working towards a reconciliation process. Right now, as I'm speaking to you, we are on a reconciliation process with this friend of mine. Now, it doesn't mean that we are not talking, but there's a time we were not talking. Like about last year, sometime last year, early last year, we were not talking because the expectations he had, I didn't meet those expectations because I was not aware of what was going on around him. And then I got so busy in my own space, so I didn't meet his expectation, and he got disappointed. And then there was kind of silence treatment going on there. You guys know those things? There was kind of silence treatment going on there. And then we reached out. So I reached out to him and said, hey, man, we need to have coffee. And so we sat down and we had coffee. And in this coffee, jamaa kafungua roho. And then I was like, oh my God, I did not know. I did not know all that. But he kept on and going on and on and on and on, sharing with me that how he felt disappointed because the things he expected of our friendship, and I did not come through for him. Do you understand what I mean? But so right now, we are working together and we're working our friendship, and hopefully, before this year ends, we probably will be back to good friendship, hopefully. But it's a process because of our own personal egos also. Unajua ego ni mbaya. Unajua huyu jamaa anaitwa ego. Na ile kwani sasa si hata mimi ulifanya hivi. But at the end of the day, my point is find someone whom you can agree and say, buddy, let's do this together. Let's walk this journey together. Because there's something you're good at, there's something I'm good at, there's something you don't have, there's something I don't have, and together we can collaborate together and walk this journey, and we'll make it. We might tutakosana hapo katikati, but if we have the intention of always, and we know why we are together, we'll always find a reason to reconcile and come together and conquer and win. Does that make sense? So find something you believe in, your belief, take an initiative and pursue it, do something about it, and then find someone on the road. Someone is going your direction, your general direction. Find this person and don't assume it. Muonge. Like define the relationship, DTR. Define the relationship. Say, maze, naona napendanga stories like acting. You like acting a lot. Me, I think I can be a good director of plays. How about together, we build something? You can be writing scripts. Mimi, I can direct. Alafu tunaweza tafuta mtu mwenye anaweza tafuta costumes. And then, in my church, kuna watoto wenye most of the time they are idle. So what we can start doing over the weekend, tunaenda hapo, tunafanya children theater. Watoto wana act, sivyo? At the end of the day, slowly you are finding value and meaning for yourself over and above sometimes the things we do to tick a box, which is to work, to read, to do all these things so that we can pass exam. We find value and meaning for our lives beyond the routine. Because the routine can be weighing sometimes on us, can make us sometimes get so stressed up and wonder whether our lives mean something or not. Does that make sense? Thank you guys for the opportunity to come and just spend time with you. And I hope another opportunity comes. I thought it was nearer when we left, and then I realized it's actually more than 2 hours to get here. I thought actually it was less than 2 hours. I don't know what Google Map was showing me. You're saying some people were Googling. Google Map was showing me something else. But I'm so glad I came, and thank you guys for this opportunity. That's it for me. Thank you.